Hi there, we're going to take a look at factoring real quick. Someone had asked, oh, can you give me a quick review on factoring? So the thing you want to think of first when you're factoring is finding a GCF. You want to find the greatest common factor that exists between all of the terms of your function or your expression. So if there's a GCF, you want to pull that out front and show the expression as it should be shown. A good example of that would be something like 30x plus 12. If I have something like this, I can see that both of these are even, but I can see that even bigger than a 2, I could pull out a 6 from both of these. So if I pull out a 6, that would leave me with 6 times what? 5x. 6 times 5x would be 30x. 6 times what gets me 12? That would have to be a 2. So when you have just a GCF, you want to pull that out. You can always double check. This is the factored form, but I can double check this by distributing. So I go 6 times 5x is 30x, 6 times 2 is 12, and sure enough, that's exactly where I came from. Now, sometimes you'll have not just coefficient that's common, sometimes you'll have coefficients and also variables. So let me pull up this one that I thought was a good example for you. I've got 9x to the 4th minus 18x cubed plus 27x squared. So on this one, I could pull out a 3, but don't do that because you want the bigger common factor. And you can see that 9 exists in each of these. So I can pull out a 9, and also I can pull out an x, but here's where we need to figure out how many x's can we pull out. This example, I'm going to pull out x squared. I'm going to pause this real quick. So of course the phone rings in the middle of this. What were we doing? We were saying, okay, this only has 2 x's, so you can't pull more than that out of this. So I can't say x to the 3rd or x to the 4th or anything like that, because this little guy only has 2 x's to give. So we're bounded by what this one has. But still ask, 9x squared times what here will get me 9x to the 4th? Well, that's x squared. 9x squared times what here gets me negative 18x, and of course that's going to be a negative 2x. And then 9x squared times what here? A lot of students right here are going to go 3x, and I want you to notice what's going on there. On that one, what happens is you've got your 9 times 3, and that's 27, so that's the good part. Here, x squared times x would actually get you x to the 3rd, so in fact, this last bit does not even need you to put an x at all. This is the final answer. And we can double check that by saying 9x squared minus 2x plus 3, and we're going to go ahead and multiply it. This would get me 9x squared times x squared is 9x to the 4th. 9x squared times minus 2x gets me negative 18x to the 3rd. 9x squared times 3 gets me 27x squared. We can see that this, in fact, matches where we came from, so we know that this is the proper factorization. The next thing we want to look at is, okay, well, if there's a GCF, we pull that out. But then the next thing that happens after that is that you have to ask yourself, how many terms have you got? If I have 2 terms, then I'm going to do either a difference of squares, a difference of cubics, or a sum of cubics. If I have 3 terms, I'm going to either factor by guess, check, and revise, or any one of a lot of other methods that are around. The AC method, the X method. One of my students said, oh, I learned the monkey face method. Okay. I'm sure if you Google any of those, there are lots of examples of those. I'm going to show you the guess, check, revise method and also the AC method. If you have 4 terms, you're going to be factoring by grouping. What I think I'll probably do is make separate videos that talk about 2-term factoring, 3-term factoring, and 4-term factoring, and that way you can just look at those in smaller chunks. So, hope this helped a lot with GCF, and then pick up the next video if you want to check out the next type of factoring.